They'll tell you ADHD in women looks like daydreaming or trouble focusing or disorganization. But the truth is, what women with ADHD go through is not just quirky forgetfulness. It's a kind of invisible suffering that eats away at self-worth. And most people, including the experts, don't really talk about it. What's hidden is the shame, the deep, corrosive shame of being the one who forgets appointments, who can't stay on top of the bills, who blurts out something that wrecks a friendship, who promises herself over and over that tomorrow she'll be different. And then tomorrow comes and nothing has changed. Now, there's a huge overlap between ADHD and complex PTSD, which is what we normally talk about here. Some of you may have been diagnosed with one or the other. Like, I have CPTSD, but not ADHD. But I study all these things. And what's interesting is how similar the symptoms are. In fact, a lot of experts think complex PTSD, and that's the kind that comes from chronic, intense, ongoing stress, usually during childhood, not always, but that might often be misdiagnosed as ADHD. And I know that a lot of you here are questioning what you really have, but here we don't diagnose. We focus on symptoms and what we can do about them. So if focusing and following through are hard for you, you are in the right place. And definitely you're in the right place if dealing with your symptoms has brought on a lot of shame. Now, this shame gets compounded when you're a woman, because many women are conditioned early on to be the ones who hold everything together: the house, the kids, the schedules, the social connections, the emotional atmosphere. And strong executive function like this is a natural female trait. It's a strength. But when you have ADHD, the pressure to do all that perfectly collides with the reality that your brain does not cooperate, and the fallout can be brutal. So here's the first truth that no one likes to admit. ADHD doesn't just cause inconvenience. It destroys confidence. Every dropped ball becomes evidence that you're unreliable, that you're lazy, that you're not enough. And after enough years of this, you stop trusting yourself. You find elaborate ways to hide. Now, if you grew up with trauma, which many women with ADHD did, you don't just lose trust in yourself. You learn to expect criticism, to wait for that hammer to fall. You brace yourself for the sigh, the person rolling their eyes at you, or the lecture about how you should just really try harder, And you start believing that you're defective. So that belief is what makes the pain of ADHD so hidden and so devastating. So I work with hundreds of people who are healing the effects of childhood trauma, and I see these patterns over and over again. So ADHD and childhood trauma symptoms overlap, and just like childhood trauma, ADHD involves neurological dysregulation, and that affects how you handle stress. With childhood trauma, the areas of the brain most affected involve emotional regulation, memory, self-perception. The areas of the brain ADHD affects are more related to attention, behavior, and impulse control. And this in turn impacts cognitive and emotional functions, leading to symptoms like inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. But regulating your emotions and having trouble focusing and feeling brain fogged and discombobulated are common to both CPTSD and ADHD. And if you want to learn the signs that you're dysregulated, well, I really encourage you to learn the signs. It helps so much to kind of go, okay, this means I'm dysregulated, so you know when it's happening. So I have a free PDF, and it's called Signs of Dysregulation, and I'll link that in the top line of the description section below this video. You can download that for free right there, have it right away. And the thing about dysregulation is it makes it harder to focus. It makes it harder to follow through, harder to manage time. And the shame and pressure that women feel because of this is very, very real. So the first hidden pain of ADHD in women is the way it sabotages relationships. People don't always connect the dots, but think about it. Forgetting birthdays, missing calls, being late, zoning out when someone's talking, these things get interpreted as selfishness or lack of caring. Now, if you're a woman, the expectation is that you'll be the attentive one, the emotional caretaker. So when ADHD gets in the way, you end up being painted as cold or flaky or unreliable. The truth is, you might care very deeply. You just can't always deliver in the way that people expect. And the way forward here isn't to hide or make excuses. It's to own what's true and then put supports in place so that you can show up in the way that you intend to. And that's how you rebuild trust. The second hidden pain is the constant internal war. You might have brilliant ideas, huge bursts of energy, a strong drive to create or connect, and then out of nowhere, it's like the switch flips off. You're stuck, paralyzed. You're unable to even start the thing you swore was your top priority. On the outside, people see procrastination, but on the inside, it feels like betrayal by your own brain. But here's the point. You can learn to work with those shifts instead of being crushed by them. You can break big tasks into small, doable actions. Don't wait for the perfect mood or motivation. Just, start ugly, start small, but start. That's how you chip away at the paralysis. One of the first things you can do when you really feel like you can't get up off the sofa, you can't get started on your first task, do anything to move your body. Just move your body. Better yet, go outside and move your body, and then take that small action to get started. The third hidden pain is how often women's ADHD gets missed or misdiagnosed because you weren't disruptive as a kid. Maybe you were a good girl, the one who sat quietly, just daydreaming, getting by, or hiding how much effort it took just to keep up. Maybe you became a perfectionist to cover up the chaos. By adulthood, the diagnosis, if it comes at all, often comes after years of anxiety and depression or failed coping strategies. And by then, the damage of self-blame is deeply ingrained. But no matter when you recognize the pattern, you can decide today that you will not keep living under the weight of shame. A little start is a perfectly good start. All right, the fourth hidden pain is the exhaustion of masking. Do you know that word? Women with ADHD become masters of covering up their symptoms, working twice as hard, staying up all night to meet deadlines, keeping elaborate systems to fake competence when they're fumbling the ball. But masking comes at a cost. You burn out, you collapse. And because no one saw the effort you put in, they don't understand why you're suddenly falling apart. The antidote is not to give up and let everything drop. The antidote is to build systems that are sustainable for you. Small, consistent routines that actually work are far more powerful than exhausting yourself to meet other people's standards. And the fifth hidden pain is this, the crushing loneliness. Because if you're always dropping the ball, always zoning out, always needing forgiveness, you start to feel like a burden, and your friendships start to slip away, romantic relationships get strained, and even when you're surrounded by people, you feel alone with the secret knowledge that you're failing at things other people find easy. But loneliness doesn't have to be permanent. You can rebuild connection by being honest, by keeping small promises, and by choosing people who appreciate your effort instead of punishing your weaknesses. Relationships don't need perfection. They need consistency. They need care and honesty. Those are all things that you can do, and it's always worth learning how to be a good friend. Now let's talk about what you can do, because you're not stuck. You can't snap your fingers and make ADHD go away, but you can decide that you're not going to be run by shame. You can change the way you respond to the challenges, and that change makes a bigger difference than most people realize. So first, separate who you are from what happens when your brain gets off track. Forgetting an appointment doesn't define your character. Missing a deadline doesn't erase your intelligence. It just means you need to put systems in place that help you deliver. And that's not weakness, that's maturity. Second, stop waiting for someone else to rescue you. Nobody's going to come into your life and organize your time for you. That's on you. And it may not be fair. It may be harder for you than for other people. But the sooner you take responsibility, the freer you're going to feel. Third, keep your tools simple. Complicated planners, endless apps, and color-coded systems, those are just another way to procrastinate. Pick one tool that helps you remember and follow through, and then actually use it. Consistency beats cleverness every time. So I use this free app called Kanban Flow. I tell people about it. A lot of people use it, I think, in this community. Kanban Flow, Flow. And there's a lot of Kanban apps, but that's the one I use. And I love it. I look at it every day, first thing in the morning. I look at it several times a day to keep me on track. And it lets me make columns for each day and create tasks for the day. And, I can type them in there. I can color code them. I use colors to mean how long I think it'll take. A half hour is yellow, 2 hours is blue, that sort of thing. And then I put them in the order of importance. And if I can't get to a task, I can slide it over to the next day. And that works really great for me to keep track of what I have to do. I have a lot of things to do, and I would never be able to hold them all in my head. So I check in with my board first thing in the morning, and then again at the end of the night. And then I check my calendar, like I know when I have to be up. I know the first place I have to be, and if I'm going to have to be like in hair and makeup. And it feels really good. It feels really good. I can sleep so much more peacefully when I know what I'm going to have to do tomorrow. All right, fourth, choose your people carefully. If someone only points out your failures and never notices your effort, you don't need them as your accountability partner. Find people who push you to be stronger, not smaller, stronger. And the people you bring into your inner circle, they either feed your agency or they feed your shame. Choose wisely. Choose agency, all right? Choose people who make you feel better about yourself and more capable. Fifth, deal with your dysregulation. ADHD symptoms blow up when your nervous system is on edge. You can't control every trigger, but you can practice daily habits that help you refresh and reset your nervous system. I love those words, refresh and reset. What I use for that are my daily practice techniques. They're very simple, they're free, and they are so, so powerful for clearing up a cluttered mind and a tangle of emotions, and for bringing your focus as often as you need to what matters. So I'll put a link to that course, the daily practice. It's free. Anyone can take it. It's going to be right in the second line of the description section below this video. And by the way, when you take that course or any of my courses, you're invited to free Zoom calls with me and my team. It's me twice a month. And we lead you in trying the daily practice, and we take questions. And it's absolutely the best part of my job. I love being there. And I'd love for you to be there too. If you want to give this a try, come join us. It's the community is free, and the course is free, and the tools are free. So we do have paid things, but that's how you can do the best part of our program without a penny. Okay? None of this is about fixing yourself so you'll finally be acceptable. It's about gentle practice every day so that you see your priorities and you make choices that move your life forward. And the more you do that, the less shame has room to run your life. The hidden pain of ADHD in women isn't the symptoms themselves. It's the way shame convinces you that you're defective. But you're not defective. You're a whole and beautiful human with important gifts to bring to the world. The turning point comes the moment you stop measuring yourself against what's easy for other people and start building what works for you and what fulfills your tremendous potential. If you like this video, I've got one that you're going to love right here, and I'll see you very soon. I'll bet that you've told every story in the book to get out of plans. You feel a little piece of your integrity fall away, but the relief feels like it's worth it.